As some of you have noticed, I've unlocked several videos at this point, and obviously uploaded a couple new ones. All a person has to do is just scroll all the way to my older videos on this channel, and as you watch and get up to the more recent, you can see what happens to someone mentally and emotionally when they've been alienated and isolated for too long. When you mentally and emotionally abuse someone for a long time, and they get into a point where they start to, all they can do is like verbally speak up, and then people use that as a weapon to make them look crazy, and then it just gets worse and worse and worse. That's actually what is called reactive abuse. No, I didn't sleep too well, but that's because that person has me scared. When they start threatening me like they did to throw me in jail or call the police on me for things that I'm not doing, like they've done before already, they've used every aspect of control that they could, to the point that when they started losing control, then they started relying on demonization, alienation, and the abuse of a legal system to control me. And the downside is, because of my Asperger's, I basically, I don't know how to shut up. I start to scream louder when it comes to when things are getting bad and I'm dealing with abuse. I start to scream louder. I don't take kindly either to how people treat my family. Even if there's been bad blood, I don't appreciate it. It doesn't take much to see someone. I mean, you just go back 3 years. We've had the house since 2019, but you can go all the way back to shortly after we got the house. It was during that winter or whatever, I want to say. But you can see how I went from, for most part, for a pretty headstrong, confident, calm, for most part, person, and to what you see now. I'm broken. You don't get to see all the bad shit that was going on in those videos. You only got to see the effects of what was going on. See, at times there have been times over the years I've had to even create new Facebook accounts, because it got to a point I got tired of every fucking year I'd get those Facebook reminders, or, for on this day last year type thing, or on this day 2 years ago and 3 years ago. It got to the point I gave up on doing that shit, because I keep getting these reminders. She left me. She left me. And at one point, like when we first got the house, from October all the way to the following February, she left me 4 times in that time period, and every time it was always my fault. And that was during the time period that her and my son were just constantly talking shit. That was when she was messing around and all that, and a tattoo artist named Phil that she would not stop flirting with and obsessing over. That was one of the people that we got in a bad argument over. Say, I don't give a shit if you have friends, but you need to know your fucking boundaries, and they need to fucking know theirs. I don't care if they have a dick or not. It's never been that way. You know, and at that time, my older son tried telling me, oh, it's no big deal and blah, 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 blah. But then I know how he felt when his last girlfriend did exactly to him what his mother did to me. And went and did something with my friend. So after that, you start to become paranoid when the people you're with are constantly cheating on you with not just your friends, but even strange people, or even people that you met and were working with over other situations, and it started to become a friendship, and then eventually they skipped the friendship and started... You know what it's like to have a guy sitting there with a tattoo needle on your back talking about pulling a train on your girlfriend, and she just sits and giggles? And his wife's sitting there looking over at him like, what the fuck did you just say? And you can't do anything because he's got an ink needle in your back? And then to have her nonstop obsess on this guy, you're supposed to be okay with that? I've had to deal with this. Some of these people I blocked out because, I mean, if I had seen the flags, like even with the very, very first guy. She was working at a place not too far from here where my parents live. And it was the first time it happened. She just finished school. She's working at the first place that she started working at after college. And yeah, she became friends with the guy. I mean, I've done the same thing. I've become friends with different people at my work, guy and girl. Yeah, we've gone, you know, all the employees get together every now and then to do a little employee get together and all that stuff. Go have a drink at the bar once in a while. No big fucking deal. But then when he goes and suddenly quits his job and leaves the state, she starts acting like an upset, hurt, dumped girlfriend. Oh, I thought I was your homegirl and this, that, and the other. I should have, you know, all these flags that have gone on with every person, I should have picked up on. Because every time she did it, she'd become heartless. She didn't give a shit about what she was doing to me. Then after that guy, there was, you know, it would always jump between men and women. Some of them were actually decent people. Like she had this one friend Brenda and this other friend Maria. I feel like she's had a couple Maria friends, and they were actually decent people. She even had a couple male friends that were actually decent people that didn't, you know, they weren't crossing boundaries. I don't even go and sit there and go through her, never even bother going through her Facebook and go, oh, why are you friends with that guy and so forth. I didn't pull that shit. Yet, like for example, I was talking to my friend Tabby, another blacksmithing guy out of the Middle East who was making, at the time, was making a hammer for me. And was showing me some of his work and stuff like that. And I was hearting his work and all this stuff. She tried accusing me of cheating on her when I was loving the work he was doing. Yet, she's been cheating on me every fucking time she kicks me out of the curb. And then she would lie to me. And then she'd guilt me into feeling like a piece of shit every time. And then when I get angry and start to defend myself, then she'd turn around and use that to tell everybody else that I'm a piece of shit and I'm abusive. Because we couldn't afford to keep living in Canby, she decided to go move in with her friend Tia. And that's when everything really went to hell. That's when she began, you know, that's when she first started to treat me like I was her ex-husband. She got her friend Tia to think I was her ex-husband. She accused me of everything her ex-husband did. And they'd sit around and drink, and then they would sit and talk about shit about me or whatever other guy that her friend was flinging with. And when I started picking up that her friend was showing some possessive natures, like they were in a relationship, I started saying something. Because I knew her friend was into both men and women. And so when she was ready to throw me away for that girl too. And it's like, I don't put my foot down if I don't start picking up on, there's more to this shit going on. You don't go, if you're in a relationship, you don't go obsessing over other fucking people. And you don't go throwing your relationship away because you've been sitting around drinking, talking shit about them. And then you start believing yourself. I don't want to go into too much detail of that person because just everything would help. And like I said, she did it to me again with this guy, Phil. She did it. She was doing it where he was concerned more than once. And she kept leaving me over that guy. And then she would tell me how much she hated being at the house. And how being up here where we were living was much better. And it was because she's being closer to this guy. And when I started seeing his posts and her posts, I already knew they were fucking around. I've never been with somebody who's never cheated on me. And when you end up being with people enough that they've cheated on you on a regular basis, you recognize the shit going on. And a lot of times you start to recognize it before you consciously recognize it. And it comes out almost like paranoia. See, I probably could have ended up going my entire life not understanding why it's been so easy for people like that to use me. And now knowing why, especially with the Asperger's, is causing me to become more defensive. And starting to put up more barriers and walls because I'm recognizing that's my downfall. I trust people too much even after they have spent years destroying me as a person. Destroying my relationship with my kids, family, friends. The constant dismissal of everything, the constant minimizing. The constant expectation that I'm basically supposed to do all this work, pay all these bills until I'm drained, and then what's left they'll pick up on if we can't get the state to use my disability to help pay for it, so that they don't have to pay for it. I don't know how many years I've had to go. At times they're eating one meal a day, and it would be my fault because I can't go out and do the shit I used to. Yet I just spent the last 3-4 years doing stuff beyond my physical capabilities that or pushing myself beyond what I should be doing to try and get shit done because I had no help. And if you've got nobody around to help you on it, who do you turn to? All you've got to do is do it yourself, and that's what I've been doing. Whether she was there or not, she wouldn't do anything. Every time I tried to get her to come outside and come help, even in the gardens, turn into arguments. That's how she'd get out of them. Either she would argue, or every 10 minutes, I gotta go pee. And then I would get blamed for why she's so unhealthy, and I would get blamed for why the relationship's so unhealthy. But all she would do, if she wasn't at work, is just sleep all day. I've got years of pictures of her just sleeping. Because most of our relationship has either been her sleeping, and if she's not cheating on me and fucking around, then it's her cheating on me and fucking around and putting all her energy obsessing over other people. And then she wonders why our relationship would not work. How many years does one person have to go through dealing with all that fucking mental abuse? Be blamed for all of it. And keep trying to make it work while they keep doing their shit. Like I said, it doesn't take much to just go down my fucking YouTube channel here. Look at my different videos and you'll see somebody who is, for most part, a fairly confident, headstrong person. To what you see now is a very broken one. This is the effects of years of isolation, alienation, demonization, weaponized reactive abuse, weaponizing a legal system to abuse you, fucking turning everyone around you against you, to the point that the only people you talk to other than your mom and dad is every now and then your 2 older brothers, or the one best friend that you've had all your life, or the guy at the market, or your neighbor once in a while. I wasn't really allowed to leave, and if I left, I pretty much, if I wasn't back at a certain time, I pretty much, I was then getting calls and stuff like, where are you? Yet, she'd go to her friend's place, she'd turn her phone off, and use the excuse that they're that they're sitting in a garage and she gets no reception, but anytime she needed to contact me while she was there, she had no problems with reception. See, I'm not stupid. Her friends helped her destroy my relationship, just like her friend with Tia did and every other person that she obsessed over. She wants people that will approve of her actions, down to the bad ones. She doesn't want to correct them. Yet I have to answer for those. And I've had to answer for them for years. It doesn't matter how strong of a man you are or person you are. You literally go, you're 27, almost 30 years. So basically from your teenage years to your adulthood, being used, cheated on, lied to, demonized, and alienated, it will break you. Especially when it's being done by the people you love most.